Yay, we are now live. I am just going to go in and add Stevie. Bear with me for a moment. Okay. Yay, I'm so excited. Okay. Stevie is here. Accept. Guys, I don't know what I'm doing. Give me just a minute so I can figure this out. I'm tapping accept and it's not working. Why? Okay, let's see this again. What is happening? I'm gonna cancel Stevie and then invite again. Okay, let's see here. Stevie, if you're watching this, you just went and accept. Yeah. Okay, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing.
No, you're totally fine. I was like, I'm coming. I'm in here. I swear. It was just loading.
Oh, sorry about that. Amazing. Thank you so much for joining me today. You look amazing.
Oh, so do you. You know what? My hair was like giving me a day this morning, and then I saw your story, and you had the slick back pony. I was like, I'm totally hairstyle.
Yeah. This is like the 7-day unwashed hair. I got my eyebrows microbladed because we're going to Edmonton, so I wanted to see my girl one time before we left, so I got them touched up, and now they're like peeling like crazy, but you can't get them wet for like 14 days or something, so I'm like, all right, or like the slick back hair and hoping that nobody notices my eyebrows look like shiny snakes.
Well, you look amazing as always.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I am so freaking excited to have you here, and I think everybody is so excited to hear from you. To start off, if you want to tell us or tell everybody a little bit more about yourself, who you are, what you do, where you're from, and then we can get into kind of like program specifics and stuff later.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name's Stevie, and I graduated from Nicole's Makin Money Moves Method program probably, gosh, was it like 3 months ago? And I live in California, so I live in Orange County, and I work for a company called Truvani, which is like wellness supplements and protein powders, vitamins, things like that. So I'm very into wellness and fitness. That's kind of where my career has somehow evolved to. I never saw that coming, but yeah, I mean, I came to Nicole probably last October, and truly she has made such a difference. And I feel like, especially coming out somewhere like California, I've just been able to more so enjoy my life out here, especially with how pricey it can definitely be. So I'm just so grateful to be on here with you this morning.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you, and thank you so much for agreeing to join us and tell your story and share these details. I know a lot of people can think or think that, personal finance is kind of like a taboo topic, and there are some kind of, like hush hush. We don't talk about how much we make. We don't talk about how much we save, how much we spend. And I really want to change the narrative on that and help people become more confident and comfortable talking about their money, because this really is something that impacts everybody. Everybody needs money. Every money kind of runs our entire lives.
Yeah, right? No, it's true.
It's so important to talk about. So thank you. Why don't you tell us, where did you find out about me? Where did you find our company?
I was not on the hunt for a financial advisor. You found me. I was just listening to my favorite podcast, Girls Gotta Eat, and those episodes always come out right when the topic is super relevant. And at the time, I had drained my savings account when I heard your program. I started following you, and I found a lot of value in a lot of your freebies. And finally, I was like, you know what? Like, I'm going to apply. I'm going to take a chance. I had such an amazing interview with Courtney, and at the end of it, she offered me the position, and I was or the opportunity to be into your program, and I was just so excited. So yeah, I found you, you found me on Girls Gotta Eat.
I love that. Divine intervention.
Absolutely.
Amazing. So why don't you tell us then a little bit more about where you were coming into the program? You said you had drained your savings account. What was going on with your financial situation at that time?
Yeah, so I had saved up money after college. I'm in like my third or fourth position since I've graduated college, and I had money saved, but it was never saved for anything. It was just saved to be saved. And so, as you know, like when it didn't have intention, it was just really easy to be like, you know what? I charged some stuff on my credit card. Let me pull some stuff out of my savings to do that. So that was kind of a bad habit I had gotten into. And even though I had, put money down for really good things as well, I invested in my nutrition certification, and I had to put some money towards a deposit on my apartment in California, which was super exciting to move back to California for me. It just went through that savings really quick. And so I was at this point where I had a big expense that I had to put on my credit card, which was just so not ideal. And I was at this point where I was like, we're at ground level. We can only go up from here. And I knew that it was time to make a change. If nothing changes, nothing was going to change. So I was really, really happy to have the opportunity to come in and get the guidance that I needed, because as you said, it's such a taboo topic talking about finances. And especially as women, it's really difficult to get those conversations going and to give women the confidence that the more comfortable you are talking about it, the easier it is to open an investment account, to save up for goals, to understand that, it doesn't have to be men who have financial goals or who, go out and take charge of the stock market. It's really not. So I was just empowered, even just entering the program. I think just getting your foot in the door and just making some sort of change is just a huge, like, uplifting move in itself.
Of course. No, I love that so much. And I love how you said kind of like you decided that now was the time. I think what I see time and time again, especially even, sometimes I'll review the application, just like, who's been applying lately, who wants to come into the program, what are the demographics, what are people thinking, what are they struggling with? Because that also helps me like in creating content and stuff. And so I'm looking at this and I'm seeing there's so many people that are like, hoping, wishing, praying, or that's the approach that they have been taking. They're hoping, wishing, praying that something is going to change in their life. And they're going through each day, waking up, expecting something to be different, but it's still the same. So I think a lot of us don't realize that we're going to keep repeating that same day. We're going to keep repeating those same mistakes until we actively choose differently. So that's why I always say, ready isn't a feeling. We're never going to feel 100% ready for anything. Ready is a decision, right? So you need to decide, okay, yep, you know what? I'm going to let go of all of the excuses. I'm going to let go of everything that has held me back in the past. I'm going to let go of these self-limiting beliefs that I have, and I am going to figure out a way to change my situation. So it's maybe I'm not going to be able to figure it out tomorrow, but with the right timeline, knowledge, opportunity, grit, and help, right, I'm going to be able to do anything, really getting into that growth mindset and that how can I mindset of, okay, I'm not where I want to be, but how can I get to where I'd like to go?
Absolutely. And you made it so digestible and easy to set goals that I didn't realize I had as well. And so I feel like really taking that action, and like I said, not just saving to save, like saving with a purpose, naming the accounts that you're saving for. It's these little things that make such a huge difference. So yeah.
No, that's crazy. And I think it's a huge thing too for people, because a lot of times, we'll even see people that come in and they're like, well, I have a savings account. I have a small savings account. It's like, okay, well, what are you saving that for? And I mean, it's something that's came into my mind right now as a student we had recently, where I have seen this many times as well. It's like they've got a pretty decent sized savings account, but then they also have a lot of credit card debt. Yeah. And it's like, okay, well, what's going on here? We kind of have this mismatch. We have this mindset of like, okay, well, I need to save money, but there is no purpose assigned to this money right now. But on the other hand, I'm spending on maybe things that I don't really need, or I'm spending on things that I, have an emergency, but I'm not spending my cash on that. Yeah. And then this is just racking up, and then the interest is racking up. So we have two different kind of things going on, and so it's really important to get to the root of like, what's causing that mindset, what's causing those beliefs, and what's causing us to act in the way that we are. Because a lot of times people don't realize that we know what we're supposed to do on some level, right? We're like, okay, I know I should pay off my debt. I know I should start investing. I know I should save. But we're not doing those things. So it's so important to be able to go back and really dig deep and go, okay, well, why not? What has happened in my life that has put me in the position that I am right now? What thoughts are bringing me here? What beliefs are bringing me here? What societal norms or cultural norms that I'm following have brought me here? And then how do we rewrite those so that when we learn the tactic, we learn how to pay off our debt, we learn, the best way to increase our credit score, we learn how to start investing and get our money working harder than we do, we can actually put that into action and have it be long lasting in our life and really create that change that's not just like, like I don't want people to just come in and have quick wins. We do have people that come in and have incredible quick wins, but that's not the whole goal. The goal is to shift your entire financial situation so that in the long term, in 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, that foundation is going to stay with you, and you're going to be able to create that dream life and really cultivate everything that it is that you wanted that you didn't think that you could have before.
Yeah. And I mean, like I was saying before, like I've paid off my credit card before, but it racks up again. So it's like the more that you like don't take action to like make those changes. Or I mainly came into this course for the change. I knew I just needed like something to shake it up, because I knew that if I kept going the way that I did, if I didn't educate myself on some level, that I was going to keep getting myself into the same situation. And as you've said in your courses, like no one is coming to save you. I think that's like a really like simple but very huge statement to say to women. I think oftentimes we, not all women, but sometimes we get into this headspace that like, oh, it'll change, but there's no plan behind it, or something will change, something will save me. And it's just, it's not. We are the ones who save ourselves. And I felt really empowered, even though I was challenged, and there were definitely like tears multiple times within the program. I came out feeling so much more confident, not just financially, but just going into it and understanding that like something that I felt I could not do, like finances, something that I had this fixed mindset around, that I wasn't going to change, that I wasn't going to be able to make this own difference in my life, that someone else would have to do it for me. I was able to do it. And that in itself leads into work, leads into relationships, all these different levels. So it really is empowering, not just with your finances, but in so many other ways.
I love it. I literally have goosebumps right now. It makes me so, like, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of all of our students. I'm so proud of everybody that's here. And if you were watching this and you're like, hey, I'm just kind of like creeping from the sidelines, that's okay too, because you are sparking your interest and you are getting into a place where you're like, I know that I want to change something, but I'm feeling scared. I'm feeling nervous. These things are coming up for me, and just know that that's totally normal, right? Our ego, that little voice inside your head that tries to tell you how things are, like its goal is to keep you safe, right? The ego's goal is to keep you safe. And to the ego, safety is familiarity. This is why we stay in bad relationships too long. This is why we stay in bad jobs too long. Because the familiar, what we know, seems safe. Your brain goes, well, this might be shit, but I know this shit. And I don't know what that shit could be. And maybe that shit is shittier. So I'm gonna I'm gonna stay with this shit
You
over
stick
here.
with the comfortable shit.
Right? And it's just, so that's why it can become so hard to actually take that step. And I think a lot of what we try to do with our program and our messaging is kind of take that like no BS approach where we call you out but with love, right? So a lot of the things that we may hear might be a little bit of a tough pill to swallow, like no one's coming to save you. But that isn't to say that you're not able to save yourself. Exactly. That is to empower you to say you are 100% fucking in charge of your own life and your own destiny. Like where you are today is a culmination of the decisions and actions that you've taken over the last 2 to 3 years. So where do you want to be 2 to 3 years from now? Where do you want to be 10, 15, 20 years from now? Because we will continue to live the same day over and over again. Life will teach us lessons that way, right? It is going to give you the same challenge and the same challenge until we learn from it. We take that lesson and then we can apply it. So going out and seeking that mentorship and that guidance is really a way to overcome that. And even if it's not with me, guys, hey, if you're watching this and you're like, hey, I really want to get my financial shit together, but you don't vibe with my messaging, or you don't vibe with like the things that we teach, or you think that there's something else that's better out there for you, that's okay too. That's totally okay. My goal is for everybody to just go out there and start building their fucking dream life, to know that you are capable, that this is possible for you. And this is why I wanted to bring you on here today, Stevie, because I think, when I get on social media and I'm like, hey, I went from $40,000 in debt to becoming a self-made millionaire at 30, a lot of people, number one, will say bullshit. Number two, will say, well, maybe it's possible for you, but I don't believe that it's possible for me. Like, you're different. You're the exception, not the rule. And I think it's so important to see other people who have then taken this methodology, taken these strategies, taken this information and applied it to their own lives, and then had incredible freaking successes.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think a lot of the student success stories were some of like the big reasons why, because it is, of course, you're incredible and you're an inspiration, but it was really great to see girls who had came through and had like these actual digestible, tangible goals that they had met, and they weren't so crazy. They weren't so far out of reach that you're like, that couldn't be me. It really was empowering to see that. And then I remember the first win that I had was just calling up my bank and lowering my credit card interest, and something little. I was like, I did it. I called my bank. I did it. It makes me laugh now because we've accomplished so much since then, but it's those little goals that keep building, that propel you forward. And everyone has different goals coming in, and the goals that I had coming into the program were different from the goals that I had coming out. So it really is a transformational experience as well. It's emotional, roller coaster, like I said, plenty of tears. It wasn't like a breeze, a walk through the park, but it was huge. It really, really set me up to not only meet my goals, but figure out what the hell my goals were, you know?
For sure. And I think it's important too to kind of touch on that. You're like, okay, well, there were a lot of tears. Am I correct in assuming that there weren't a lot of tears because the material was too hard, because you couldn't figure it out? It was because you were doing a lot of like deep diving and soul searching and trying to figure out why you were where you were, how to overcome those things, and then really where you wanted to go in life.
Yeah, that was definitely a part of it. Another emotional part of it for me was this fixed mindset that I had, that I wasn't able to do some of these things. And the first part of your program is so much on your mindset, and that part I was really able to get into. And then we hit into the numbers, and it was like, I shut off like immediately. I just felt myself like caving in. It's like that little kid at the table trying to learn algebra with dad, and dad's trying to explain it. It's a frustrating feeling to, get to something and feel like, well, I think I stopped that course for like probably 3 weeks. I didn't touch it because I just felt this in my heart. Like the second I would open it up, I would just start crying. I told my boyfriend that. I was like, when I open up this particular course, I just start crying. And it wasn't because of anything that you were not explaining well. I got through it completely fine. It was my own mindset. It was my own preconceived like ideas of who I was and what I could accomplish or what I would understand, that I would never be someone who could understand finances or the numbers or the math of it. So when I got through that particular course, it was like, oh my gosh, I think I went through it twice just to make sure I got it. But I was very, very happy. That was a huge milestone for me to accomplish that particular module.
Course, I'm proud of you for that. So tell me more about what happened for you, what changed for you, what resources did you utilize to help you kind of come over that or overcome that limiting belief?
Yeah, I mean, there were so many phone calls that were really helpful. The mindset phone calls that you offered to your team were definitely beneficial. And obviously the support that was offered in the Facebook group, I was always blown away when I would ask a question, just expecting like a response. And you and your team would both respond to my posts with these long paragraphs and then finish by asking further questions. And I just felt like, wow, you were putting so much time and effort into me. And I was like, I'm never going to have this much resource or this much access to someone who is truly pouring so much love and energy and care and education into a topic that I didn't feel confident about. And I was like, I got to take advantage of this. So I think for me, it was just like really committing to being like, there's no question that I couldn't ask. I think I had like 5 or 6 Facebook posts going at one time, just asking all these really deep, intricate questions. And eventually I got through it. And you just have to trust it. I feel like there were times where I was like doing it and I was like, okay, well, I did it, but I don't think I did it right. And eventually you're just like, you know what? I did what I was told, and you just have to trust yourself. That was a huge thing. I just had to trust myself that I did what I was told. And even if I'm not trusting myself, it's complete, and we just got to go with it and try it. And if we have to revisit it and redo it, then that's fine.
Exactly. And that's a huge thing too, taking messy action and just going into like full GSD mode, full get shit done. Like that's it. That's what it is. And I know for myself, even for a long time, I really was like a perfectionist, and I wouldn't put anything out unless it was like absolutely perfect. And I would like, even when I would like put out videos and stuff, I would be like, oh, I didn't sound right there. Oh, I don't like how I said that. So I'd refilm it. And eventually I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Like the whole point is to get out value, and the whole point is to move forward. And as if I'm sitting here and I'm trying to redo everything and make it perfect and do this, then I'm actually just taking away from the goal that I'm trying to accomplish. And I think that's something that I see with a lot of our students too, is like they get hung up on, they're like, Nicole, I'm like looking at 17 different high yield savings accounts, and I'm not sure which one to choose. And this one has like, 1.2% interest, but this one's like 1.22, and I don't know. And it's like, okay, right? And we gotta like get back into that mindset of get shit done. The whole like, we gotta go back to the goal. We gotta go back to what things actually mean and what's actually important. And the important thing right now is just choosing one. Make sure you do your research, but if you get so caught in these nitty gritty little details, that's actually just that self-sabotage, that scarcity, that fixed mindset kind of jumping back in. So as you kind of like challenge yourself in the program to be like, okay, I did my research and I'm just gonna fucking choose it and go, right? Builds that confidence. And even like you said, you jumped on the call with that person. from your bank and you were able to negotiate a lower interest rate on your credit card. And you're going into that, and a lot of our students too, they're like, Nicole, I can't do this. Nicole, I don't know how to do this. I'm like, read the fucking script. Read the script, take the book. We give everybody a book with scripts to negotiate everything from like their rent to their phone bill to their interest rates, all that stuff. I'm like, literally just read it. I promise you, just read it. And they're like, oh my God, I read it. And it worked. And it's just like,
phone with my bank.
so I can do it.
Yeah, I was on the phone with my bank every day. Sometimes the phone calls were just even like 30 minutes long. I mean, I'm the kind of person where like I have to truly understand. Like I can't just have like a surface level of like what my new credit card is. And I got a new credit card through this process. And I was like, all right, we're going through, you are walking me through every single little thing. I was on my bank every day, and it does make you feel good. Those tiny little things make you feel so much better. So I definitely think that it's possible. You just have to like break it down into steps. It can be as small as calling your credit card company.
Exactly. Exactly, that's huge. And you mentioned also like the calls. So we do weekly group coaching calls. Myself and our co-coaches host them. In addition to that, though, you mentioned the Mindset Mastermind, and I think that that's something that really sets this program apart. And I think it's just like, oh, it's so freaking phenomenal for our students. So we actually, you guys, or you know, but I'm going to tell everybody else, we actually have a registered therapist on staff. So she does a monthly Mindset Mastermind, and all of the girls or all of the students in the program are able to come. Right, and everybody comes together. Everybody's so freaking supportive of each other, and it's such an incredible atmosphere. It's a bunch of badass bitches that are going after their financial goals, right? Everybody's in the same mindset. Everybody's going after the same things, and you guys all come together and you go on these calls, and people are vulnerable and they talk about, hey, you know what, I'm struggling with this, or hey, you know, this is coming up for me. And our therapist, like, she's able to walk you through those things. So this obviously is not therapy. She is not licensed to provide therapy across the world. So we focus really on like the mindset and kind of what we can do, strategies we can use to change our mindset or change what we're thinking, you know, if we're getting stuck or stuck in a rut. And that can really be the difference between, okay, getting to a section of the program and you're like, okay, this is challenging for me. And then falling back into those same patterns where you're like, you know what, never mind. I'm just not even going to touch this. I'm not going to look at it. I'm going to put the bills away in the drawer. I'm going to put this, and then saying, okay, well, how can I overcome this, and how can I get the support and the resources to feel comfortable challenging those beliefs and then kind of moving forward from there?
Absolutely.
Amazing. Okay, Stevie, why don't you tell us a little bit about what your goals were coming into the program and what you accomplished in the program?
Yeah, so when I came into the program, obviously I had the credit card debt. I knew that I needed to pay that off. And a huge one for me was I went into this program thinking, you know what, I'm going to save up for a down payment on the house, because my mindset was that is like the pinnacle of financial success. And if you don't own a house in your mid-20s or your late 20s, like, you haven't made it. And so going through this program, I was able to realize that it's not always the best decision for everyone. It's not always the smartest financial decision, especially with the way that the market is right now, and me living in one of the most expensive states or cities probably in the United States. So I was able to pay off around $8,000 worth of credit card debt, which was huge. Yeah, and then I was able to save up a 6-month emergency fund. So my rent, my car payment, now I'm adding into it because I bought a car. Buy a car because of this program. And I'm definitely, like, I think, just to be realistic to anyone else who's on the other end, like, I don't have like $1 million in my bank account right now. Like, I am living on less than I make. I had to budget in my car. I had to budget in a dental surgery that I have to get. So I'm living on less than I make. But beforehand, like, I wouldn't feel confident. I wouldn't know where to find that money. But because of the tools that you gave me in your course, I was able to feel confident that I can pay for this car, I can save up for this dental surgery, and still have money to live on, still pay my bills, do all those things. So it's not like I have like a huge amount of cash flow. I just want to say that because I feel like this can be very confusing for other people on the other end. And I had to realize that as well. But I bought a new car. I paid off the $8K in debt. I actually currently set up for early retirement by age 40. Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, I opened an investment account with a brokerage. And so I have my own 401k with my company. And then I am further putting money into an investment account with a brokerage. So right now I'm on track to retire when I'm 45, which is like crazy. Probably won't be one of those things that I feel until I turn 40 and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
At this time, well, when we first started, I was able to actually negotiate a 20% raise with my boss, which was one of the most nerve-wracking things ever. I work for an incredible company with very supportive leaders, and I was so nervous to go in. And at the end of it, like two of my bosses messaged me. They're like, "F yes, like that was awesome. Proud of you." Like, oh, yeah. And it was such. I was like, oh God, I hope they don't think I'm like asking for too much or doing this or doing that. And they complimented me on it. So that was like a huge win, was asking for what I wanted, feeling nervous, and then being rewarded for that. So that was huge. But yeah, so that was everything that I was able to accomplish. And it was just like massive.
I love that so much. And so tell me, you've done all of these incredible things in the program. You're working towards early retirement right now. What other goals are on the docket for Stevie?
Yeah, so one of the things that I told you that I spent some of my savings on before I entered the program was my nutrition certification. It was right when COVID hit. I've always been super into fitness nutrition. And so even though I'm working for an incredible company right now that is in nutrition and wellness and stuff, I'm revisiting that nutrition certification, and I would like to ideally have a side hustle where I can sell the same way for you. I feel like nutrition and diets are the same as finances and budgeting for women. There's not like a whole lot of education. There's just like some slap on diets, slap on budgets that people are following. So I would really like to make some digestible content for girls in their 20s and 30s on how to eat healthy without wanting to bang your head against a wall. So that's my current goal. And then I'm also, as you know, I start your income multiplier class today. So I'm very excited.
Yeah, today. That's amazing. I'm so excited to have you back on the calls. Yeah.
I know. The second I ended the last course, I was sad. Like, even though I felt sad, it was like a really fun chapter in my life. So I'm so excited to be back.
That's amazing. Well, we are so freaking excited to have you, and I cannot wait to see all of the amazing things that you get to accomplish inside Income Multiplier. For those of you who are watching, we have kind of like our level 1 program, which is Making Money Moves. This is where you learn how to pay off debt, how to save more money, how to start investing, how to increase your credit score, how to change your money mindset, how to feel, comfortable and confident with your finances. This is where the majority of our students start off. And then from there, we do have another program called Income Multiplier, where it teaches you how to build out your multiple streams of income. So we know the average millionaire has 7 streams of income. So we teach you how to increase your active income, which is money that you were working for. So either through a side hustle or getting more money from the job that you're already working. And then how to pull that down into different kinds of investments. So like real estate investing, REITs, MIPS, stock market, all of the things, and teach you all about early retirement, because I know that is a lot of a goal for a lot of people, not everyone. And I think it's really fun too, because a lot of people see early retirement as like, well, I'm just gonna like sit on the couch and do nothing. It's like, no, when you reach financial independence, that's when you get to do whatever you want. So if your dream has always been to like start a lavender farm, you can go and do that. If your dream has always been to be a dog walker 2 days a week, but you couldn't afford to do that before, but now you can, right? You get to go and pursue your passion, whatever that is, irrespective of money. That is the real freedom. It doesn't mean that you do nothing, and maybe you do nothing, but you have the choice to do whatever it is that you want, whatever feels really good to you. So I think that is amazing. I think that's all the questions that I had for today. If you had any advice for anybody who is thinking about joining the program or thinking about getting help in their finances, what would you say to them?
For anyone who's considering joining the program, I think like my thought process was like I could put down the same amount of money that I put down into the course so easily within the next few months on things that probably wouldn't have brought me joy. Like, it's an investment in yourself. It's an investment in making a change. And even though for the short term, you're putting money down, like you get so much in return, like tenfold. So I think it's like, you just have to decide. I went through like my Amazon purchases and I was like, I bought all this stuff over the last year. Like, what? I think I was just buying it to buy it. Like, I was like, what am I doing? I feel like putting that money intentionally towards something that you know is going to bring you, even within the next 6 months, even within the 3 months. Like, I feel like I saw so many changes within those 3 months. So it's just a matter of if you want to invest in yourself now or continue the same vicious cycle that got you to eat, because nothing's going to change.
Love that. I love that. So yeah, get out there, decide to make a change, decide to be ready, whether that's with me or somebody else, decide, hey, you know what, where I am right now, I'm not happy with it. There's somewhere else that I want to be. How can I get there? How can I get the knowledge? How can I get the support? What can I do to get me from spot A to B? So I love that so much. Thank you so much for joining me, Stevie.
Yeah, I love you. I adore you. I'm so happy to. I'll do anything you ever need of me.
You're the sweetest. I honestly, I was like, you know what? I saw your wins come in, and I was like, get out, get out. That's amazing. When you posted at the end of the program, I was like, this is freaking phenomenal. We need to share Stevie's story because I love these student success stories. For anybody who's watching this too, we have a whole page on our website called Student Success Stories, and it's all people like Stevie who have gone through our programs and had incredible wins and have been able to do like a complete 360, 180, whatever, on their whole life. Whatever it is, I'm tired. And really just like change their life. And I love to share those because I think that they're so inspirational. Because as I said before, it's one thing if I'm telling you guys what I have done, it's another thing for you guys to see that people are, everyday people are able to implement those things too. Because I'm an everyday person too, but a lot of people don't see me as that anymore.
Yeah.
I was just like a regular, average, person, and I still am. But because of these financial feats, I guess, that I have accomplished, people are seeing me kind of not the same way anymore, like the exception to the rule. So I love to just showcase more stories, to share what other people are doing, to share their successes, to hopefully inspire some more people to go out there and do the damn thing.
Absolutely. That's what we're doing.
Amazing, Stevie. Well, thank you so much, everybody. You have an amazing day, and I'm going to see if I can download this and post it in our Facebook group, so if anybody wants to rewatch it, it should be there later today.
Awesome.
Amazing.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. You have a great day. Bye, everyone.